Welcome to the video. I hope whoever's listening to this is having a great week, having a great day. And today what we're talking about, as I'm driving to Mississippi for about 2 hours, thought I'd get a little video shoot in here while I'm on the same road for 90 miles. We're talking about asking ourselves why. So basically the premise is, if you haven't started doing this already, is to ask yourself the reason you're doing the things you're doing or thinking the things you're thinking. Now, maybe that sounds pretty basic, but I found myself not doing this for a long time, and it would just lead to stupid actions or stupid decisions because they're not thought through logically and they don't have support for them. A couple of things in my life brought this idea to my attention to make a video on this, and one was at my work. As I started out in that position, a lot of the times I was just following what happened in prior year and trying to make that happen again without really understanding why I was doing the thing I was doing. And then as I asked questions and became more experienced, I had reasons for the things I was marking down, for the things I was testing, things like that. So I was actually able to make choices and understand what I was doing. So when my boss asked, hey, why'd you do this here? I can tell them instead of saying, I don't know, that's how we've always done it. That's how it was done last year, right? Because that's how it was done last year. Bad answer at my job, right? Not a good reason. That means you don't understand what you're doing. So having an actual reason for the actions you're doing kind of is a nice filter to make sure your actions have a good purpose. Another example that made me think of this is, this might sound pretty stupid, but in a store, if you grab items, you're walking around, you decide you don't want the items, what are the odds you're going back and putting the items where you got them? Probably pretty low. You're probably just putting them on the shelf right next to wherever you're standing. You know that's not where they go, but whatever. You don't want to go back and put them away. So I stopped doing this a while ago, and then my wife and I were in a TJ Maxx or a Balls, a BL's, whatever, something like that. Anyway, I grabbed some dog bags from the back corner of the store, and we were in the front half of the store, and my wife said, or we decided we didn't want the dog bags, whatever. And I was like, I'm gonna have to walk all the way back to the back of the store to put these away. So I was like, I should just put them on the shelf. And then I asked myself in that moment, what's the reason I'm putting these in a spot where I know they don't belong? The reason was convenience for myself, so that I didn't have to walk to the back of the store and take an extra 30 seconds. So after I realized that was my reasoning, I decided that was a very dumb and selfish reason, so I walked to the back of the store and put the bags back. Again, pretty silly example, but I think if you apply this to most things in your life, it can really help set you on a great path for your daily tasks that you're doing, how you're spending your time, but also your reasoning and logic behind kind of the direction of your life. I'm just getting at asking yourself the reasoning. Maybe you don't know the reasoning, but again, that gets you thinking, why am I doing this, instead of just kind of blindly doing it because you always have or because others around you are doing it. This is also a great tool if you get in this habit to fight against like peer pressure situations. So again, if my reasoning is because everyone else is doing it, not really a great reason. Maybe you should rethink what you're doing, right? Even things that like aren't necessarily bad habits or anything like that, like again, like any hobbies you're doing, they don't necessarily have to be like, I don't know, they don't have to be like, oh, drinking. Why am I doing it? Because I want to numb my brain or whatever. Okay, that's a bad reason, don't do it. It doesn't have to be necessarily that black and white. It can be something like for me example, I like creating content. So why would I start a YouTube channel if the reasoning is to chase fame or chase influence or whatever? I don't think those are very good reasons. I think those are pretty selfish reasons, and I think those things are going to result in me getting burnt out of doing something that I love. Oh, we're in the state of Mississippi. Whoop, whoop. So even if it's something that's not necessarily like a bad habit, like if it's me starting a YouTube channel, if it's not good reasoning, it can still kind of eat away at your life. Again, or the activity, if you don't want to be that dramatic about it. It can eat away at the activity you enjoy doing if you are doing it for the wrong reasons. Now, this can be, when you assess what reason you're doing it for, this can be a chance for you to pivot the reasoning and change your perspective, or it can be a point of either stopping or, it can also be a point of stopping that activity as a whole. So again, for me, YouTube, not necessarily a bad thing to be doing. It doesn't negatively affect me or anything like that. Maybe takes away some time, but I still ask, why am I doing this? Because again, if it's to chase influence or clout or fame or whatever, then that is, to me, a bad reason, and a reason that's not going to be sustainable in creating and doing things that I enjoy doing. So if the reason is it helps me solidify my thoughts, so I'm going to give you my reasons why I have this YouTube channel. Again, scratches that itch in my brain of that kind of, I want to create something, I want to use this camera to film something, I want to try and make something look cool, or I want to create something, right? I want to put something good out into the world. That's another reason. So there's a lot of crap. They're just everything. There's a lot of all kinds of media going out there. So my thought is, well, if I can add something positive to that huge ocean of crapola, which not all of it's crapola, obviously, but if I can add something positive, maybe someone runs across that, it can positively affect their life. That's another reason I do this. 3, it helps me personally solidify these thoughts of growth, or these thoughts of organization that help me in my life, help me become a better servant of Christ. They help me become a better husband to my wife. Hopefully they'll help me be a good father in the future. They'll help me be a good friend, help me be a good son. They'll help me be a better person. These kind of ideas that I have or conclusions that I come to, it helps me if I can kind of write them down and speak them out loud to someone, i.e. the camera. It helps it solidify it in my brain so I can kind of recall back on that in my life. If I don't do that, a lot of times it gets scrambled and kind of like, what are those, like when you x-ray someone, like certain microwave rays like bounce off and go out into nothing? That's kind of what my thoughts do sometimes if I don't solidify them in some sort of form. And I like this form because I like talking. So those are the reasons I do this YouTube thing. So I can come back on that when I'm spending time on it, wondering if I should, or wondering, just making decisions in the future about spending time on stuff like this. Just start asking yourself why you are doing the things you're doing, why you're living the way that you're living. An easy way you can look at it as well is if, kind of like I said, like if your boss is asking you, or your mom or your dad or some authority figure is asking you, hey, why are you doing this right now? Not necessarily in an accusatory way, doesn't have to be, but wouldn't it be nice if you had a good explanation for the things you're doing? And if you don't have a good explanation, or the explanation is dumb, maybe change something. Again, either change your perspective or just change the actions that you are doing. As I'm saying this, I feel like I'm like, well, yeah, that's pretty basic, but I didn't do that for so long, and I feel like a lot of people do not do that. And it really helps you Ooh, integrity is a good word. Integrity. It just helps you be a person of integrity, and I think that's all something we should be striving for. Because if you understand your reasonings for doing things, you're going to be a pretty consistently moral person. Maybe, I don't know, that sounds like I'm putting a little judgment call on people. Didn't mean it like that, but you're going to be a consistent person, right? A more consistent person if you have reasonings behind almost all of your actions. Basically, what you believe should feed into your actions, right? I feel like sometimes there's a disconnect there because we don't think about it. It's easy not to think about it. It's easy to just kind of go along with whatever we've been doing or whatever other people are doing, whatever society is deciding to do. It's easy to go along with that because you don't really need a reason because nobody's going to question you on it, right? So you kind of have to question yourself, be your own authority figure and say, hey, why am I doing this? Is that a good reason? What should I do about that? Bam. Okay, I'm going to stop rambling because I think I'm just saying the same thing over and over. And we're at a stoplight. What good timing. For real though, whoever's watching this, I really hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great rest of your week. I love doing these videos. And yeah, feel free to, I don't know, if you have questions or whatever, comment. I'll respond to them. I'll do it. But yeah, thanks for watching.